support of deferral.
Mr. Carlucci for the second time.
Thank you. We don't just have one bite at the apple. We have two. In 2019, we have 70% of the people that want this bill to pass. Boy, if you're going to have a campaign, that's the time to do it right there. Now, I'm going to take you back because history has a way of repeating itself. So let's just say that in 2019, it doesn't make it. Okay? Well, we can still come back in 2020. Because let me tell you, the last time we did any kind of a large capital outlay bond was in 1986. And it was a general obligation bond. And it had to be voted on by the public. And it failed. And guess what? They went back, recampaigned, and it passed in 1987. So we have two bites of the apple. But I tell you what we don't have for a lot of kids is another year to wait. That's what we don't have. So I'm going to say what I'm going to say, if you don't mind, Madam Chairman, because I spent a lot of time putting this together, and this is in my encouragement not to defer the bill. Everybody in this room wants to have the finest schools in America. There's no doubt about that for future generations. The school system is making great progress. 1 point away from being an A school institution. And this is a testament to the hard work and dedication of excellence by our students, educators, superintendent, and our elected school board. Now, the questions before us today is what steps can we take as a community to ensure that we capitalize on these successes and help ensure that every child from every neighborhood has access to a quality education? And you know what? That answer doesn't lie with this council. It doesn't lie with us. It lies with the voters.
Quiet,
that
please.
is why I have strongly support a special election this year. And I have said time and time again that Jacksonville is at its best when we pull together. And I truly believe that. But we need to trust our citizens, the people who put us into office, to make that decision. How can we have a 21st century education in antiquated buildings? Do we have the political courage and will to secure and harden our schools and make them safer buildings that were built for another age? Do we understand that we're spending $500,000 more each month for Band-Aid repairs for these rundown buildings? And that is robbing our students of a better educational opportunities. More delay, more decay. We all know the answers to these questions, but the big solution and the answer is to allow the people to vote. It's their money and it's ultimately their decision. Now, I recently reviewed the 1966 consolidation study called Blueprint for Improvement. It's right there. And there's a sentence on page 133 that stands out like none other. And it says, Duval County has a county-wide school system. This is an advantage, at least in theory, because schools throughout the entire county should be uniform in quality. Yet it has been recommended by some that we should build our schools under the Uniform Building Code, all in the name of cost savings, which would in fact be more in line with building a home or an insurance office rather than an institution. Now, that code can construct some wonderful buildings, but our schools are so much more than a house or an office. Our community schools, our traditional public schools, are the institutions that must keep our children safe, must keep the community safe from storms, and be equipped to deal with the very real threat of gun violence. Instead, we should build all of our schools under the same quality construction that a world-class system demands and lines up with the blueprint of 1966.
Hello, Mr. Carlucci. I am having to put you on the clock, okay, just so you know.
How much time do I got left?
You got 4.
Okay, I can get there.
Thank you.
I'm just running a little short on breath. My apologies. In the proposed school board plan, most of the schools to be built, remodeled, are in these older. So I went to the Blueprint for Improvement 2, which was completed in 2014, and on page 73 it says that it is clear that in many older neighborhoods, promises were made to upgrade infrastructure in return for their votes to pass this new government, which was consolidation. However, some of these promises went unmet. In the proposed school board plan, most of the schools to be built or remodeled are in these same older and more vulnerable areas. If we were to build them under the Uniform Building Code, as opposed to a more institutional type of construction, we would just be adding yet another discrepancy to broken promises. We're trying to eliminate those. Another observation is that Dr. Green has solid experience in passing sales tax referendums. What makes us think we know how to do schools better and build them better and make them better than our local school board? I don't think we can. Another observation is that she has passed several sales tax referendums in Manatee County. I spoke with the new superintendent in Manatee County, and she credited Dr. Green with the heavy lifting and success of these. In addition to these enhancements, new schools, in fact, the new schools with her referendum have in fact increased enrollment in the traditional public school system. And finally, I have a bit of institutional knowledge dating back to 1968. And I can say we've never had a situation ever close. And if you can think of one, add this one to the list. To what is going on with the school board's simple request to have a ballot question brought before Duval County voters. Our charter, our ordinance code are extremely clear in the outline of our government and clearly defines the duties of each body. I fear now those lines are beginning to blur. I do not believe the city council knows how to handle school board business better than the school board. I also do not believe the voters sent us here to do a specific job, expect us to meddle in another body's civic responsibility. And I'm also concerned we could be sowing bad seeds with other constitutional officers and city governments in Jacksonville. We as a council are tasked and obligated to do only one thing, and that is to allow the voters to decide if they want to vote yes or no on a half-cent sales tax. No more and no less. Let us do our job and let the voters vote. And if we can not support deferral, and if Rules Committee can take a strong stand and say, let's move forward, not backwards, not stalled, but move forward, then we can make great history today. Great history in our city. So I encourage you to not defer this bill and to pass it. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Councilman Morgan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Chair. As I have listened to the debate go on. And I appreciate this because this is very important whether or not the Rules Committee decides to defer, especially since the Finance Committee has already deferred this bill. So my feeling on the deferral is I cannot vote for the deferral. And I have truly listened carefully to every word that each of you has said today. I listened to the Finance Committee as well. And I just still have fundamental issues with one elected body telling another elected body, you cannot put this on the ballot. I understand that we got the ruling from our general counsel. I truly understand that. But it is, I have just never seen anything like this where one tells another what you can do. And I believe that the citizens of Jacksonville, just like they elected us, they elected the school board members, and they elected them for a reason. And I don't want us to take that from them, because I would not feel very good if they came into our space and tried to tell us what to do on our bills. I cannot condone that. When we have a bill and we decide that we would like to pass this bill, even though we might not have every I dotted and every T crossed, we are allowed to make that decision. And we make decisions on millions and millions of dollars of investments and things that are going to go into our community. We have approved deals where we did not know exactly every point that was going to happen in that deal. But we knew that as the details were worked out, it would be fine. Or so we thought. So for us to stand as the gatekeeper to stop them from doing their job, we have effectively stopped them. We stopped them. I cannot support that. I get all of the reasons why we say we don't have enough information. I get that. But in this case, this is their job. They have simply asked us to put it on the ballot. That is it. So I cannot support deferment today. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Next, we have Ms. Priestley Jackson.